Drinkin Bros, presented by GhostBed.com.
Everyone's offering me crystal meth.
Yeah, welcome to Drinkin Bros, kids.
Thank you. I'm on my way to another podcast, Sober Cousins.
Yeah, looking forward to that one. That's right down the road.
That didn't do as well as it did off camera.
Pre-show that did really well.
Yeah,
it
but
landed.
it was still fun that you were like, are you serious?
Yeah.
That would be your competition, right?
You don't. Well, you don't know. One pops up every day from a different celebrity, and I'm just waiting for like a bunch of sober celebrities.
Well, that would be the
to
evil.
Start that show.
That'd be the evil version of us. So his antithesis would have a goatee. Mine, I don't know.
Yeah, it would be
a bigger beard.
He introduced you as the co-host, my co-host.
Yeah, yeah.
Shit, this is my stockbroker. You guys do your.
I really hope TJ Miller does have a stockbroker still. I don't know anybody with a fucking stockbroker.
Yeah, I mean, everybody just uses Robinhood.
Sure. You might know TJ Miller. He was a Holocaust survivor. Also, he was supposed to be on the Challenger.
According to his social media, he's dead.
Yeah, he's dead.
So.
He's dead. He showed up here. We weren't sure if he was going to show up. Showed up, had a hard AF seltzer, and then there's a pile of drugs there. D'Anthony, do you recognize any of those?
It's vitamins.
Is it really?
Yeah.
And he is now currently talking to a stockbroker in that order.
I hope he did drugs and then called his stockbroker and tried to order some more Big Pharma stock.
Yeah.
Some Gilead, maybe some Regeneron, something like that.
I'm waiting to hear this story about the guy outside the gym that was smoking crystal meth.
And that's a real one, by the way.
Yeah.
Like we say all the time, we usually chat with people a couple minutes before we go on air, and somebody was smoking meth outside of their gym. I guess it would help you get a bigger pump, but I'm not really fucking sure.
Well, the pump comes from the nitric oxide.
Okay.
The stimulants help you just get wild in there. But
sure.
I don't know if there's nitric oxide in meth. Can we look that up?
Original Jacked was essentially meth.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is a real movie star moment, so I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, it is absolutely. Is it a movie or is it a stock though? Are you getting a call about a movie?
I do both.
You do both? Okay, cool.
It's a
Right now, it's a movie about stocks.
It's a movie about stonks. We call them stonks here on the show.
It's the Wolf of Wall Street prequel.
Oh, the Wolf of Wall Street prequel. You're a younger Jonah Hill. Is that what they're asking for? TJ Miller will join us at some point, but in the meantime, D'Anthony, to follow up on yesterday, Will Smith finally dropped an apology late last night, right around midnight.
But so did Chris Rock.
Oh, he did?
Yeah,
I didn't see that.
He also apologized. I'm not sure for what. That's a bad precedent, apologizing for a joke you told, I think.
Or apologizing for getting slapped, I guess.
Yeah, well, that's like Jesus,
I didn't see that he
Turn the
has.
other cheek.
It's true.
So
it's true.
Chris Rock is
I
Jesus.
came back on the
welcome.
Jesus.
Yeah. You came at Jesus and meth.
Oh my God, I'm so excited, you guys.
Yeah. We're excited
Did you
to
just make
have
some
you
fucking
here.
money or what?
Yeah, what'd you do?
Are you guys, what's that?
What'd you do on the phone?
You know, Goodyear has taken a real plunge, but they've made a good decision to kind of differentiate their supply chain, but also they're doing, I'll talk to you guys about it later on in the show.
Yeah?
But if any of you want to get into Goodyear right now, this is a good
time for rubber.
Yeah.
Good time
I was
for
going to say
rubber.
Goodyear, but you
Nailed it.
did nail it.
Nailed it. I had to. Welcome to the show, my man. You've had a crazy life. How's everything going these days?
That's a very strange way to open it up.
It is, but it's true.
Crazy life. Do you know about all this stuff in elementary school?
Yeah, we know everything. We know everything about you.
Oh my God, this is hard as
Hard as fuck.
He doesn't swear. For a lot of people who haven't seen your comedy or movies,
Yeah, you don't say
never
any
swear.
curse word.
What I do is bleep it out because these around town are just talking, and I don't know if these. I can say bastards. I don't know if these bastards know.
Well, bastard's a medical term for
When does
somebody
this
whose
come
parents
out?
don't love them.
This is out now. We're live on YouTube right now, so this is everywhere. Yeah.
We were going to maybe add a show at the Creek in the Cave.
Tonight?
No, Thursday. Tonight's sold out. 2 shows tomorrow. 2
Okay.
shows sold out. I was talking to her about adding a Thursday show. Let's see where she is.
Yeah,
at
you
that.
should.
Yeah, you should.
I
People
would love
fucking
to.
love you, dude. There was a thing about you that went viral yesterday. Somebody screamed out from the audience about the Chris Rock thing. And you said you wish you could slap an audience member.
No, that was Dustin Chafin, who's my opener and really a headliner in his own right. He's great. He's got a good podcast, too, called I'll Leave You With This. And then he's doing something now called, it's like a show about his vinyl because he's a heavy-duty record head.
Yeah.
But yeah, he went, I mean, that was a great response.
They attributed it to you in the papers this morning.
Well, fuck!
Yeah.
Oh, that's new. The media is saying something that I didn't do. Fucking some of these states that I go to are the only ones where I can just like talk shit about the lying nature of the media right now because it's clickbait, capitalist, all that stuff. And people are like, yeah, and then I'll go to fucking, Northern California, and they're like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
There are quite a few outlets of journalistic integrity, okay? And I'm like, yeah, sure.
Like the
They cut
Babylon
and
Bee.
paste from the, but no, that was Dustin Chafin. But that's really funny. I don't love that everybody's like talking about it. And that's sort of what happens.
What, the Chris Rock thing or you in general?
No, that it's like when people start talking about Kanye and then I can't escape that conversation. I'll leave one room to go to another room and they like walk into that room to keep talking about Kanye West.
Right.
So it's like vegans and atheists, and they find.
You ever met a vegan atheist?
No, I think the world just implode.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
You can't do both. That's too much.
I just throw
Especially
cheese at him. I go, this is a gift from God! That's how I deal with vegan atheists.
Doing the Lord's work.
Always doing the
Somebody's
Lord's
gonna
work.
do it. Shit.
When I was talking about your crazy life earlier, you've had fucking brain surgery, dude.
I want to say that, absolutely. I want to say this. We're looking at adding a show on Thursday, which would be great. It's crazy, though. This relates to brain surgery because right now I'm doing 16 shows in 10 days.
Holy shit.
And
Jesus Christ.
we're not even halfway through the run, really. We will be second show tonight. But I'm doing a special, pandemic special, April 15th and 16th in Nashville, Tennessee at Zany's Comedy Club.
Zany's.
And I'm really, really excited about that. But I'm doing 3 specials this year, doing a second special in Tampa, Florida, May 5th and 6th.
Are these half hour?
We call it
No,
Cinco de
they're
Mayo.
hours. They're hours.
You're
Cinco de
doing
Mayo.
3
And
hours
then
in 1
you
year?
call it Cinco de Mayo?
Yeah, we call it Cinco de Mayo.
I call it the 5th of Cinco.
Okay.
I'm just a different guy. I speak fluent Spanish. You obviously do the Tex-Mex.
Yeah.
Are you picking this up when I go through the side of my mouth?
Yeah. It's autentico.
Yeah,
And
it's like
then
you had a stroke.
another special in September in San Diego. Yeah, it's 3 hours, 1 year. It's going to be really fun.
That's
Are they taped for anybody at Netflix, HBO?
Yeah, this is the interesting thing, and I think you guys can get on this tip because
You have to go into the
you're
mic.
doing
There you go.
this.
Yeah.
you're doing this. Is this helping?
Yep.
Am I on the mic now?
Yeah, you're perfect.
Okay. So what it is what's happening now. If I had a tracheotomy, this would work. Yeah, so what's happening now is that it's a DIY culture. No, it's this. I mean, you guys are not on terrestrial radio because this is where it is.
Yeah, no shit.
And so what not a lot of people have understood is that YouTube is it right now. But Mark Norman knows that. Shane Gillis, who did his special, Creek and Cave, he's amazing.
Yeah, Steve Byrne did his last one there, I think.
Right, Joe List. There's a lot of people who have gotten the picture. They're all New York comics, by the way. We live in New York. And everybody goes, well, so what's it for? Are you doing it for Netflix? They're booked through 2025, and no one's going to Netflix to watch stand-up anymore. That happened. Now they're like, what's this new show I hear about on Apple TV or Hulu or all that stuff? And so we'll go, depending on who produces it, we'll go over the top, which one of the producers was like, and then we go over the top with it. You ever have somebody say something in Hollywood or in entertainment and you don't know what they mean, but you try and push through it? So I was like, yeah, we definitely need to top over, I think. And he was like, what? And I was like, go over.
To the tippy top,
Yeah, we'll go to the
motherfucker.
tips, and then we'll top it out. And finally I was like, what the fuck is that? And he was like, oh, that's everything that goes over the cable box. So he's talking about, Roku, Pluto TV, Netflix, everything.
Connected TV, I believe.
It's really Amazon. That's where you go because they buy stuff. And then, I'm not going to bore you with the...
Actually, we know all the fucking details to it. And many of our friends have gone that other route. Like Akash's new special
it was on
YouTube.
Oh,
Or on
really?
YouTube,
He
yeah.
dropped it on
Yeah.
YouTube and he got 1 million views in, I think, 48 hours.
Yeah.
But that propelled him to another fucking gig and everything else. Amazon Prime, you can actually sell it yourself and stream it. And
you can, but these fucking old
rights.
production companies are starting to buy up content and resell them over to the
Well,
fucking
comedy
streamers.
dynamics, again, we shouldn't really spend any more time on this, but the idea is that you go to YouTube or you put it on a you lease it to Amazon basically.
Yeah.
And then you go to YouTube and you can do it for free, because you can monetize it from a premium. There's a bunch of ways to make some money. But that's not what's important. What's important is you get into that algorithm and then people see it. And that's all I care about. I'm not like, oh shit, we got to make this money back. That's not the point.
Right.
The point is that a lot of people don't know that I do stand-up. And when they come to my shows, they come because, I liked him in Deadpool, or oh my God, or my kids
Silicon Valley,
my kids love him on Gravity Falls, and I've had to watch him 100 times because he's the star of the Emoji Movie.
Yeah.
You guys have seen it. Don't pretend that you haven't.
I took my kid to it. There was a
Did you hear
pile of
my
shit in the
affect?
movie.
Just said, don't pretend that you haven't.
I like how you enunciated all of it, yeah.
Yeah, I do a lot of diction work. I'm a real diction. And so... then they come, and a lot of times afterwards, when I used to do meet and greets, they'd be like, "You were really funny." Like sometimes they go like this.
How do you feel about
that?
that?
When you've been a comedian
pretty
for funny.
decades.
Yeah, exactly. I started as an improviser,
yeah.
then stand up, and it's just for me, it's kind of like, oh, thank you. You didn't need to say actually or pretty. You could have said you're funny instead of you were actually pretty funny.
There's two qualifiers in that statement.
It's a backhanded compliment is what it is.
I don't think they mean it to be. I think they came to see a celebrity in person, and then it ended up that he was a good comedian. And so I kind of need to flood the internet with a lot of stand-up so that when people are like, oh, he's coming to town, let's look him up on YouTube, then they can see that I've got not only 3 specials, but I also did 4 weekends of this thing called the set list, and it's where I improvise stand-up on the spot. The audience gives me ideas. We throw it up on a screen behind me. They see it for the first time. I see it for the first time. And then I'll riff a joke right off of that,
right,
and then move on to the next thing. And I think that's pretty fun too, because people are like, is that real? And it is. And that's going to sort of go on all my channels also. But I sort of needed that because that's what I am. Is I'm a stand-up comic. I've just worked a lot in Hollywood.
A lot. And I'm assuming you love it more.
Stand-up?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's fun. I read an article. Pete Holmes is doing a new CBS network sitcom, and it's perfect for him.
Yeah.
But he said in an interview, I read a bit of an interview, and he said, "This might be blasphemy." I'm paraphrasing. Watch. I'm saying he did it, and it's actually Dustin Chafin.
Yeah, it was your opener. Yeah. Call back.
Yeah, absolutely. There'll be 2 more of those. Yeah. So anyway, I did crystal meth before I came here, and this AF is hard as seltzer. That's it. Those are the last callbacks.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's an audio show. It's for them as well.
You ever have somebody
audio.
say you're welcome and you didn't thank them? You guys
I do that
run
on
into that?
I do that on accident.
Well, he introduced you as the co-host.
Yeah, well, I said this is my
Not the host.
but I'm also his co-host.
You didn't say that.
We're a co-hosting show.
I'm going to create tension on the show. I don't give a fuck.
There's
Yeah,
two
but
of
you
us.
didn't say that. You didn't say, hey, I'm his co-host.
What else would I have been?
Besides a co-host?
Yeah.
The host.
No.
And he's the co-host.
That would be sidekick. He'd be fucking Andy.
What?
Yes.
You're calling him your
No.
your sidekick.
It would be Conan and Andy. I didn't say that. I said co-host.
You know what? You just said Conan.
We host the
You
show
said
together.
Conan.
We're 2
You
men.
said he's your
who
Conan
host
host.
the show together.
He said, this is my Conan host.
God damn it.
I've smoked quite a bit of weed today.
So you don't give a shit.
No.
Also,
He's got a pipe right
also,
there.
you're kind of funnier than him because you go on the low. You don't.
He
need to
goes
yell.
low. I go high.
I can't hear.
It's
him.
harmonizing.
Go crank up the air in here. We've had a ton of Terry Blacks, so the meat sweats are starting to pour down.
Yeah, I'm
My
starting to get a little
man.
sweaty.
Before you came in, we had Terry Blacks.
It's super humid today.
and
too.
that really fucking gives you the meat sweats. Have you had Terry Blacks here? Is that your jam?
No, but you know what I heard about it? It's supposed to be amazing,
It is.
right?
We got
Fucking
some in the
God,
back. We literally just ordered it for everybody here. You're
Oh
welcome
man, I would
to
love
yourself.
some of that. I'm
Yes.
a pescatarian, but today's the day.
You quit. You
No,
quit.
I'm not a fucking pescatarian, but Kate is, so I eat pescatarian when I'm around her.
You did post something about a dude smoking out of a fish not too long
Yeah,
ago.
totally.
What the fuck was that bullshit?
I don't know, but I'd slap the goddamn fish out of that guy's face. How dare he?
How far are you willing to take it today? Can we go into your whole life? Do you care? Do you give a
Well,
shit this
yeah,
afternoon?
so what I was going to say is, so it's strange because, anyway, what I was going to say is that Pete Holmes said, I'm going to be blasphemous, but I enjoy acting more than I like stand-up, which I understand because hasn't done much acting at all. He played himself in Crashing. Just like Kumail Nanjiani, a cohort both from Chicago and cohort, not co-host.
Yeah.
From Chicago, he played himself in The Big Sick and was amazing. And Pete was amazing on Crashing. But that's not really acting, right? So I've never done a narrative about me as TJ Miller, right? But I've played all these different characters. But I acted for like 10 years in Hollywood. And then now I'm finally able to do stand-up at a pace, and this is going to go into the brain surgery stuff, at a pace that I really want to. So I had brain surgery in 2010, and what I had was an AVM, an arteriovenous malformation. What that is congenital, which I didn't know what that meant until people took a golf ball-sized piece of my brain out of my head.
And that's not an exaggeration, by the way.
It's got genital
No,
in it, so I'm in.
What's that?
It has the word genital inside of it, so I'm in.
Congenital? Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
And it says the word con. So I think you and I could both be co-hosts.
With genitals. Congenital.
With genitals?
That's
Yeah, okay. I'll take it.
Yep.
you're fluent Spanish.
Congenitalia. That's just an Italian accent. So I was born with this malformation, and I had a hemorrhage in right after New Zealand. I was filming Yogi Bear 3D. You've seen it.
oh, yeah.
Don't
Huge
pretend
fan.
you haven't.
That's the world's movie.
I saw it on Pornhub, actually.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay. That's called Yogi Bear 3 Dick.
Yeah, there's 3 dicks in that Yogi Bear.
I went for it because I wanted to support you because I'm your co-host.
I appreciate that.
Sure.
I regret it. So I had this hemorrhage because my brain is unstable. And luckily, I had a bleed, 2 seizures, and then I went to the hospital, the best hospital, Cedars-Sinai, and they took, and you can see it I did it on a Comedy Central show, so you can see the whole story there on This Is Not Happening with Ari Shaffir, who's hilarious. But they took that out of my brain, and so now I take this medication to stop me from having seizures, strokes, and aneurysms. Obviously, 2 of those are okay, right? The other one's not great. So a seizure and an aneurysm are fine, because you either don't die or you die. But a stroke can be pretty...
Yeah, you don't want to be talking
You
out
don't
of the
be
side
in
of
a
the
chair.
mouth like you were earlier.
Certainly not.
Yeah.
And so...
Although if you started playing roles of like old 1940s gangsters, they talked out of the side of their mouths a lot for some reason. So
Go back to Bogart.
and they also had trouble walking on their left side, and their loved ones had to care for them.
that's true, yeah. Look, a lot of-
Jesus Christ, who's this fucking co-host? So I take medication for that. I also take medication for mania. And so what happened was I was also working at a speed that people really didn't understand but could profit from in Hollywood. And I never really talked a lot about being brain damaged. Or as my cognitive remediation neuropsychologist would say, there are challenges, right? But it's really, I was born with damage to my brain, and they sort of fixed it. But I used to have a level of mania that you would attribute to a bipolar disorder. But I did not have the depression. Or if I did, the mania would run right over it. And so I was just working at a speed that people couldn't even understand. And then now that I had that brain surgery, and years later, it was actually because I had a misunderstanding with the federal government. And they were able to, actually I was able to find my way to this neuropsychologist, Dr. Vias, who's amazing, and on the East Coast, based out of Connecticut and Manhattan. Shout out. And she, what if that's all I promoted? Was like,
That was it.
Mental health.
Yeah. And
Professionals.
Go see TJ Zanies.
Dr. Stokel, neurologist, Cedars-Sinai. You know what it is.
You're getting kickbacks
And I just
now.
looked at the only camera that's facing the production team, which I think is pretty funny.
Yeah.
So, later I would sort of find out that this speed was I just thought I didn't need to sleep more than 4 hours. I thought that I could work for 9 hours straight, and that was just fun for me. But really, it's like when your brain moves that quickly, then you sort of, the only way to work it out is to put it into something. So that was really, that was sort of really detrimental. And Kate and I met in college. So we've known each other for 20 years. And she was starting to be like, I'd rather you live longer than work at this speed. And so that's what I put a lot of time into. And that's why it's nice that I'm just focusing on stand-up. All of that comes back around to say that I'm doing 16 shows in 10 days, and I'm looking at adding a 17th show Thursday at the Creek in the Cave here in Austin. So I'm still working at a certain speed, but I try and like bring it down a little bit.
Focus to one thing.
Yeah, or just bring it down a little bit so that I'm not. But for instance, on the way over, I sort of had the choice between listening to music and kind of I walked here. And kind of relaxing, or listening to the sets from the last 3 days and writing as I went and all that kind of stuff and answering emails as I'm writing and listening. So I made the conscious decision to just bring it down a bit. And that's kind of the thing that I think I never talked about and people didn't really understand. And on Silicon Valley, I kind of had some... well, let's call them challenges, because I would do a 14-hour day. I did this on films also, but like on films, people are movie stars or they're happy to be there. And movie stars sort of understand the situation because they can relate to me. The people that are happy to be there are very like polite and excited, and it's just a great experience. But on the television show, it's kind of a day job because you have to go 5 days a week, get up at 5.
And some of those shoots are like fucking 10 months out of the year, too. I don't think people understand.
Yeah, that's network. But we were like 4 or 5 months. But what I would do is I would work 12, 14 hours, then go do sets all the way till midnight because I do 2 or 3 sets, which was hard in Los Angeles. And then afterwards I would hang with like a buddy and would write, and we'd like not only stand up but sketch and improv, just ideas for formats of improv shows. Then I would go home and it'd be 2 a.m, and then I'd wake up and it would be 5 or 6, and I'd go in and I'd go on camera and, kill it or do well. I would kill it, and then in between scenes I would like go to sleep. And then they would wake me up and I would be like, all right, here we go. I would go in there, do well, wait till there was movement of the cameras, go back to sleep. And what happened was people thought I was a drug addict, because that's not how most people work. But at lunch, I wouldn't have lunch. I would go to the trailer and work. And that was sort of the speed that I was doing everything. So I think Kate was absolutely right in saying this pace is just not going to work for your health, but also for the perception of the businesses and the people around you. And so that was really interesting. But it's nice kind of to transition into a more chill place, but by chill place, I mean 16 shows, 10 days, adding a 17th, which will take me to the only day I had off, Thursday, having a show, then to Salt Lake City, 2 shows Friday, 2 shows Saturday. We added a show on Sunday.
And then you're dead on what, Monday or Tuesday?
I think Tuesday, because Monday I'll do crystal meth.
Yeah.
Shit, a third.
And that'll push over, It's a third callback. Yeah,
I've got Da Vinci slept in 2-hour increments.
Did he?
3 times a day.
Yep.
So that brings back the Italian you were speaking earlier. So that's the fourth
That's
callback.
the fourth callback.
Look at this guy.
Yeah.
Aristotle would write, and he would hold, I think he wrote with his left hand, and he would hold a bronze ball in his right hand above a bucket. And so when he fell asleep, the ball would go into the bucket, wake him up, and then he could keep working.
No shit.
I mean, how
fuck
insane is that?
But
if you have Plato being like, he didn't come to the academy, like Aristotle wouldn't come because he was sick or something, probably sleeping. And Plato would call it halfway through class. He would be like, the mind of the school is not here, so let's go home.
Let's go home. Let's all leave.
We don't have the student that... Which is not the case with me. When I was sick in school, the teacher was like, I was at home, the teacher was like, all right, now we can finally learn, because that disruptive fucking clown isn't here.
He is gone. He's gone. Since you brought up Silicon Valley, let's talk about it, because everybody loves the show. The rumor was that you were unhappy with your character, the way that it was written and the way the storyline was continuing. In my opinion, and a lot of us in this room, you were the best one on the show.
This is exactly the weird thing about, I think, the internet is that that's not the case. So the thing that happened was I was enjoying myself, but you know what? After 3 seasons, maybe even 2, it gets weird. If the show is successful, it gets weird. And we were successful like cover of Wired.
Oh, yeah,
Successful.
right out of the gate. Right out of the gate, you guys were very successful.
Yeah, that's true. Right out of the gate. And so I it just got weird. It's like certain people think that they should have more attention. They're not liking what's happening with the writing, all that stuff. But I wasn't too concerned about that. First of all, my whole mission statement with comedy is it's about the audience. Like, we're here because life is fundamentally tragic. Everybody in here knows somebody that's sick or unhappy or getting divorced or whatever. And my job is to take you out of that for an hour and a half. If it's a commercial, a minute and a half. And so I don't really have a lot of ego within this stuff. But most people think they should have more lines and I don't think that's a bad thing. I said that about Thomas Middleditch because I think he's so funny and he should have had more lines. And I had some funny stuff and he would want to, why don't I have more funny stuff? Right. And I agree. I did
Ambition's
a 2-man show with him for the longest time. And so I kind of, and then I had already done films and I started getting more films and films like Deadpool, which was a fairly successful film.
Yep.
And so it just got weird. It just got weird. And I also feel this, like people always are like, you gonna be in Deadpool 3? And I feel like this is about everything that I've done. How to Train Your Dragon, Deadpool, Silicon Valley. I don't I don't think it's a good idea to do a part or something for more than 4 years. I think then you definitely go on autopilot. And I had started to go on autopilot on Silicon Valley. I was just showing up. It was easy. I knew the character. He's sort of Erlich Bachman is kind of like this. And, it would be, I got it. I did it. And I didn't want to run into the ground. And so I actually, first of all, I love the part. I love all those guys. Like those guys, that's why it was so successful because Zach Woods, Kumail Nanjiani, Martin Starr, Thomas Middleditch, and Jimmy O. Yang, who's going to be at Moon Tower.
Yeah, he's fucking hilarious.
Amanda Crew is fucking hysterical. Everybody there was so funny.
Did they understand? Did the rest of your cast understand why you didn't come back? Were they like, dude, I get it? Like, thanks for playing?
No, they all created their own narrative.
They did, okay.
Well, that's what people
everybody
do,
does.
though.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Well, and the media kind of leads that. But
Yeah.
I'm not here to bash the media. Our greatest president of all time already did that. Richard Nixon. So,
Of course. But let me ask you this. The season finale, were you invited for that?
So what happened was I had reached a point, and it's a bummer because Mike Judge and I, who are still friends, did feel like I
He lives here.
didn't want to be on the show. He does live here. He lives in Elgin, actually, which has the best sausage. And he, I think, felt like I didn't want to be on the show anymore or something like that. It was because I was doing so many other things. And so what happened was I was enjoying it, and then I didn't get along with the showrunner at all. And when I made fun of him, people thought that I was unbelievably blasphemous. But I thought it would be interesting if everyone, when they finished a television show, was like, we were just a family. It was like the best. Every day was a gift.
Yeah.
And we just all got along, and we spent the night with each other every weekend, and every one of it. And it's like, that's not real. It's like any other job. Mm-hmm. So I thought it would be interesting to say, I didn't get along with the showrunner. I grinded gears with this guy or that guy. And Hollywood did not like that. They were like, you're supposed to lie. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Just don't be honest, And so what I kind of did, I'm turning my back to him.
No, go ahead. I'll grab another seltzer. Go ahead.
Yeah,
And,
most communication is nonverbal, about 81%.
Yeah, 80, really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's get it going.
Yeah.
And so the showrunner, I think, found his way to writing me off the show or giving me that option. So the end of the 4th season, Erlich was supposed to go to an opium den and smoke himself to death, essentially. And forget his name, but the guy who played the tech giant was going to pay for me to just keep getting high there. And I remember at the table read, which people would, there was like a rumor that I didn't read the script. I would just show up and do it cold, you know? Yeah. And the reason is I'm an improviser. I love a cold read. And I wanted to laugh at the jokes for the first time. If I've already read them, then I'm not going to be laughing genuinely. And we need that because the network's there. So we want them to think, because it's true that the script is amazing. So I went and I read this ending, and I just cracked up. I thought it was so fucking funny. It was so perfect for Ehrlich.
You're talking about the ending of season 4?
Yes, and I thought to myself, this is the perfect out. This is the greatest ending for a character. And we had gotten to a point where they were trying to like shoehorn Ehrlich into the show because art imitates life. Nobody really had any reason for me to be there. None of the characters wanted Ehrlich to be there, right? He didn't fit in.
I mean, there was conflict between you and Jimmy's character.
Yeah, but that was really fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
That was
a
great.
Laurel
and Hardy. He is hilarious.
He's really fucking funny, yeah.
And I was hoping that they would sort of make him the Ehrlich of the show, right?
I mean, it kind of trended that way because he basically stole your spoiler alert.
Totally.
If you haven't seen it yet, fuck off.
Yeah, no. But it's a great show. It's well worth a watch.
It's great, yeah.
And
but they kept their character kind of alive through 5. Like, there's conversations about it and shit.
The network was so awesome because they were like, you know, we'd love you to do like a 3-10 split, which is where you do 3 episodes out of the 10. And I said, no, I think this is a great exit for this character. And then they were awesome. You know, Amy Gravitt, who was the executive that oversaw the show, she was so awesome. And she said, well, for the season finale, would you just be open to coming back? And I said, the joke here is that he is gone because of the opium den. And I was like, so I really think this is the right way for this character to exit. And you guys will be able to like do so much more. Once I'm off screen, there's going to be a lot of screen time for Amanda Crew, who's hilarious. Yeah. And she was like the only woman on the show for a long time. I thought, okay, so let's make room for Jimmy O. Yang, make room for Thomas Middleditch. Because he's so fucking funny, and they needed to give him more physical comedy because he's so amazing at that. And she said, well, just promise that you'd be open to. I said, yes, I'm open to it, even though I wasn't necessarily. So they were great. Mike Judge was awesome. He was like, well, you know, I get it in some ways, because he's a genius. He was like, in some ways I'm a little jealous because I'd like to go and do something else also a little bit. But he loved the show, and he was all in.
And the money keeps going. The more
that was the thing that was so interesting, was I was like, I'm leaving the show. And Hollywood was like, what do you mean? And I was like, I think it's the right time to leave, and I'll do more film, but focus on stand-up. And they were like, but don't you want to be rich? And I was like, how do you mean? And they're like, well, if you go to season 7, you'll have a boat.
Yep.
And I was like, I don't want a boat. And they're like, why would you not want a boat? Are you afraid of water? You know, something like that, you know?
Well, because the other side of this is Dan and I have friends who are literally counting the seasons down going, hey, if I can, close. We're close enough friends.
Maybe one of those guys.
But
maybe one of those guys. It's the one that's not on their phone.
Exactly.
Oh, wait, so none of them.
None of them. But we have friends who are literally counting down the seasons of like, all right, great, if this goes 5, I can retire. I'll never have to work again.
For a network, it's 88 episodes now.
Yeah, but they're not stand-ups.
No, they're not stand-up. No. Correct. But they're actors who've gotten that part, and I think that's what a lot of people looked at you like.
That's called this guy. That's called the Law and Order model. So they thought, well, why don't you want to do this? So I said, because money's not important to me. You know, it's important to everybody, but that's not the point. Again, I'm doing comedy. Like, the idea is that you get an email from somebody and they're like, my boyfriend, his father went to jail, 2 months ago, and he's just been so depressed, and I took him to your show, and he hasn't laughed that hard in weeks, months. In the pandemic, they were like, thank you. We haven't laughed at all in a year and a half, you know? I mean, that's in the North. You guys were like, that was a tough 11 days.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of elderly people are dying. Texas was like, thinning of the herd.
Yeah.
Yep, don't care.
I'm a Logan's Run guy when it comes to old people.
Okay.
It's an old Michael York movie.
I'm sure you're going to keep that opinion when you're elderly.
Oh, I'll be long dead by then. Suicide.
Really?
Yeah.
My mother's been talking about that.
Yeah, there's a gun.
You got to hook up with Doug
What the fuck are
Stanhope.
you laughing at, dude?
Yeah, that was really rude.
What the fuck are you laughing at?
Flip the table over.
It's called end of life decisions.
Do you know how high Giorgio is? Put a camera on
Yeah,
Giorgio.
no, I
right
can
now.
see his hair decision. Yeah, he's probably pretty fucking high.
That started out as a lost bet, actually, but it's
And it remains one.
Yeah,
So that's a funny comedy. You like do a joke and then go.
Slap the mic on your leg.
You know, I think that I didn't really need that money, right? I have money from other places. I was joking about the stockbroker, but like I'm a big crypto guy. So I kind of so I just didn't want to do that. I didn't, because I don't like the idea that I'm in the 7th season on autopilot and the audience is like, this show jumped a shark. And TJ's not really that funny anymore. Like, he was so funny for the first 3 seasons, but now it's kind of like
if you make that decision, for a lot of people, that's it for you. Like, you're just going to be that.
which is why I would never fault somebody else for that. And a lot of people are like, I like that show. And I'm like, it's fine. Season 8 of Breaking Bad, they're trying to win Emmys. I get it.
Yeah.
But I had a Critics' Choice Awards, and I hosted the Critics' Choice Awards, so that's really fun.
Did you get slapped at all?
I was going to say,
Yeah.
although hosting an award show doesn't seem that appealing anymore.
But you could take out,
especially when a
like-
Scientologist slaps you because his wife was fucking somebody else, and the world found out, and he's like, I'm still a man, and everyone's like, are you?
Are you?
Chris Rock is 5'4". He's not really, no disrespect to Chris Rock. Good dude. Lives in New York.
He handled that pretty well.
Yeah, he
Oh,
did.
as well as you could.
But no, but did you see him? This is the only thing I want to talk about.
Yeah.
Did you see him have a moment where
Yeah.
he was like,
I could, ...
all right. And then he just, like, that forever to me, he will go down as the most consummate professional in comedy. Because he had a moment where he's like, dude, I could fucking kill this dude on international level. Because it would be so easy to fucking lay into Will's all of it.
Easily. When he said,
All
keep
of
your
it.
wife's name out of my mouth, Chris could have said, keep other guys' dicks out of your wife's mouth.
All right, I didn't say it.
I
but
said it. I don't
This
give a
is
fuck.
Drinking Bros.
Drinking Bros, you're welcome.
No holds barred.
No.
Hard seltzer. We're as uncensored as AF.
Yes, goddamn right we are.
So I mean, he could have just done anything.
Yeah. It's Chris
What
Rock.
happened to your son? Actually, I like Jaden Smith a lot, but like all of it, you know. And he didn't. And so I hosted the awards. I had just had a great time in Hollywood, and then you kind of see the darkness of it, and you see how much it's about money. And
I felt the same way working for the government, by the way.
oh boy, what'd you do there?
Homeland Security. And then he killed a bunch
Did
of
you
people. Yeah.
We dabbled.
TSA?
He's murdered hundreds of people, so definitely not TSA.
Is that what? Oh, okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Now I feel like I just insulted him, and he has a gun in the truck.
No,
No, it's
we
in-
got dudes with
that's
missing
right.
legs over here, so like obviously there was a little danger.
Well, that
involved.
guy's ahead of the game because I see some leg tattoos that are mistakes. Can't make that mistake when
Are you
one of them's
asking him
gone.
to cut off his other leg?
No, I see other fucking idiots in here.
I thought you told the
He
guy
didn't-
with
he
one
didn't
leg,
know.
hey, cut it off.
No, dude, I would have all leg tattoos on my other leg. I would not make that hair decision.
Giorgio. I
Giorgio.
like it. I think it makes him who he is. I'm proud of you, Giorgio. I'll say that live on here.
I like it. So
Pride's an abomination.
I
and everybody knows it.
It is.
Really?
It says it in the Bible.
So wait, you actually killed people
No, I hurt somebody's feelings once.
with a gun?
Yeah.
Yes.
And you shot off the thing that has feelings, their heart.
Yeah,
Actually,
he ended
well,
all of the feelings over there.
You know, look, this is like asking somebody how much money they have in the bank.
How much money do you have in the bank?
Like I have 16,000
I'm
to check.
joking. I'm joking.
16,000 in check.
So then I kind of,
It's a 30 Rock show.
I
Come on.
kind of stepped off that train because the media also got like, it was hardcore. You know, you have to remember that when you're attacked at a level and there's just fabrication and you're just clickbait, that like hurts your family. And so that was a problem because Kate and I are homies and I just don't like to see her in that place and being attacked in that way. So we got lucky. We always wanted to live in New York. And so we just pulled the fucking cord, went to Manhattan, and it's great there. Like, everybody's trying to make rent. Nobody's like, well, I heard that then, like, that's gone. Everyone is just like, all right. And it's not LA where they're like, how can you help me? How can I get money, out of you? Everyone there is just like getting it done because that's the only way to survive there. So that was really cool. And we love New York and have a great place there. And that's why I moved there. Kate moved there because she's an installation artist and amazing. And
wait, what's that mean, installation artist?
So it's mostly
Philistine
it's
here.
mostly like her. She's famous in the south of France, but it's mostly in Europe. And it's basically she would take a room like this. You guys have kind of done it. She would make it look like a shitty podcast that's making a lot of money. And then you would walk in and you would see like, oh, there's like a hard seltzer they're selling, and there's a trophy to insinuate that they're good at sports, and an American flag to kind of make him feel better about the families of those he's killed. And like too much lighting because everyone in here, including me, like drinks too much and doesn't sleep enough.
Correct, yes.
And, they hired too many production people, but none of them are saying anything because they like their job, although some of them are interns. And it's,
That brain surgery really worked out well for you.
It's almost like you're clairvoyant.
That was
at this
exactly
point.
right.
Yeah, all of it across the
if
board
only
is correct.
any of us knew what clairvoyant meant. So, did you see I did the joke? So moving slower. So she would she makes a space be completely immersive.
I see.
And it's really cool.
So it's not like some like Christie's auction house bullshit.
No. It's not. It's not, as Fran Lebowitz says, it is not the joke and the fucking everything that the fine art world is.
Yeah.
But which I still think is cool. Like, she paints and stuff. But that happened that she needs to be in New York. And then to be a great stand-up comic, you have to be in New York. Because I've done, my record is 8 shows in one night, 8 sets.
What city?
In Manhattan.
Okay.
So I can't do that in Los Angeles.
That's too far.
My
No.
record there, I think, is 4.
Because you can go, Comedy Store, Laugh Factory, Melrose Improv. What's the 4th?
Well, hello, you.
What's the 4th
You
one
got
then?
Jam in the Van.
No,
you got
it's all-
Supernova. You got all the new stuff.
Well,
if you wanna
Supernova's
have it.
new since the pandemic, but
Yes.
you're absolutely right. That's the best room.
But back then it was probably a little
No
more
disrespect
spread out
to the
too,
Laugh
right?
Factory, my home club, and the Improv, but Supernova's amazing. And I did a show there with the lineup was Nikki Glazer, Whitney Cummings, Jeff Ross, and Jim Jeffries.
Holy shit.
And then some guy from the Emoji Movie. But that was fucking, so there's great comics in Los Angeles. You just can't get the reps. It's just not possible. So that's why I wanted to go to, he's smoking weed.
You can't get the
as we
reps.
speak, because he's got to justify the blonde tips.
Yeah.
You can't get the reps because it's too much, like too many comics, or because
No, it's just too far apart.
It's too
Geography?
spaced out,
Yeah.
and you got to drive to all of them and somehow stay sober. And
So New York, I jump on a rideshare scooter. Got to be sober, but you can be high. And I go uptown back and forth, then downtown, a set on the way, and then Greenwich Village, where we are, is like boom, boom, boom. It's like the Cellar has 3 rooms, Greenwich Village Comedy Club, the Stand has 2 rooms.
Yep.
So that was the whole reason for going to New York. And Kate and I wanted to live there since we were in college. And so it's just perfect for me. And I just didn't have, it's time to be vulnerable. I just didn't have the time to become a great stand-up comedian while I was acting. And I really would like to be a great stand-up comedian. I mean, Norm Macdonald, who I think is the best, probably, certainly of
top
that
5.
generation. And he's a nihilist,
Yeah.
He just said some really great things to someone about me. It's like, this guy has real potential. And Dave Chappelle has been very nice. He's never been like, you're a great stand-up comic, but he's cool with me. And he'll be like, he was very nice, actually. He said something in front of Chris Rock that was really nice. But you got to be in New York, and I got to put the time in. So that's what I would like to be, a really great stand-up comedian. I don't know if I'll ever be one of the greats or anything like that, but I think it would be really important to me to achieve something in the stand-up space.
I mean, that's a grind. Like, you're
It is a
doing
grind,
200
but
nights a year.
But I
is.
love it. And
Yeah.
I sometimes like my agents or my business managers will like sneak in a weird thing where they're like, well, yeah, you work harder than anybody else. And I'm like, what do you mean? No one else does 50 weeks a year? And they're like, no, I mean, and then they kind of move on. But, it's a grind. It takes that amount of perseverance and dedication.
To get the timing and shit. I mean, we say that all the time. We do comedy, and he's done stand-up before. I've never done it. But
have you? Mm-hmm. What'd you think?
For years. I started at
You did it for years?
16 years old, yes. So I was very, very young. I actually knew you. We were at the same auditions in L.A. for different parts.
Oh, really?
If you want to go in deep to this.
You never got him because you were more attractive than me.
No, I got him because I was more attractive than you. And then when you switched and just went out of control, funny dude, you smashed everybody in Hollywood, and it wasn't even close. And I'd done a movie with Jonah Hill, and all I kept thinking was he's a less funnier version than TJ Miller.
Did you see that? He brought up Jonah Hill earlier so that he could make his way into talking about how he did a movie with him.
No, not at all.
That's radio. Thanks, guys. Have a great night.
Thank you.
I'll actually switch
from
it.
what I'm wearing.
By the way, I'll actually switch it to what we were talking about earlier.
Leg tattoos on there.
No.
You big daddy.
Not at all.
I'm afraid of needles.
I'm afraid of that guy.
You should be.
You should be.
Yeah, I know.
He'll take that leg off and stab you with it.
All he needs to do is hit me with it.
No, but I'm going to take this back to earlier where there's certain
to Jonah
people,
Hill?
Yes.
What was the film?
Don't accept it. There's certain people
It's called what? Accepted?
Accepted, yeah.
Oh, early on. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, but here's the thing. There's certain people that you just don't get along working with, which is why I was asking about Silicon Valley, and you don't know why, and you don't know if it's the person or X, Y, and Z. But I think once you switch personally...
Is this making noise?
Not at all. Not at all. You're good.
Chairs. It's a running.
Are you picking
thing.
this up?
All right, go ahead. But once you switched, you started to smash everybody, and I'm curious.
Switch to being funny?
Yes, because you were up for the good-looking guy parts.
Is that the worst thing you can say to someone?
Yeah. No, not
in
at
comedy?
All. Not at all.
Well, before you weren't funny, but then when you finally were, then I didn't get the parts.
But you were up for the bad guy roles, the good-looking
Blonde
dude
Tips
roles
over there is
and all that
cracking up because deep down he hates you. Whoa, that's a big laugh. That means it's real.
It is real. That is real, by the way. It is. But in my opinion, you were on pace to be the biggest comedy movie star in the world.
In
the world.
Real.
Yeah, go ahead.
Actual beer?
Grab some beer out of the fridge. But you were on pace to be the biggest comedy movie star in the world. And then you just stopped. Was it your choice or Hollywood's choice?
No. It was the choice of, not for better, for worse. It was the choice of a woman who's mentally ill. Thanks, dude. And who Kate and I knew since college. And, she just was in a bad place then, and I hope that she's in a better place now. But she's ill, and so
you're talking about the Me Too sitch, which I thought was bullshit, by the way.
Well, look, it is bullshit. It's fabricated, but I just want to be very clear. It's hard to hate somebody who's mentally ill because they're not. It's not them. It's not who they are. And in college, she thought that. Again, this is. She was in our improv. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this because I don't think that she should have this type of attention. I think it's bad for her. But she thought that Kate had stolen her life, and she had pretended to be Kate's best friend and lied about things that Kate told her, like that I was physically abusive to Kate, which, whoa. And she believed that because of that, she had the right to sort of destroy us. And she tried in college, and it didn't work because it was fabricated. Mm-hmm. And then when the Me Too stuff happened, which was really important, as it was happening, we felt like it was really important for women to have a voice where they could, call people out. I don't think it was the right thing to try and destroy everybody, but I do think it was important for that kind of voice to rise up or get louder. And just like Black Lives Matter, every segment of the population that feels minimalized should have an opportunity to speak out against the people that they think are doing that.
And also get $60 million in charity funds and spend them on houses in Toronto.
Yeah, why not?
You know what? let's not get into that. That is not a good look, as we say in Hollywood. But, you know, Me Too happened, and I think she was like, this is it. I can finally
This is my
really
moment.
destroy this couple. Because it was not about me. It was ultimately about hurting Kate. So she did that. Hollywood was like, we don't give a shit if this is true or not. We got to, you know. And so I kind of got blacklisted. And then I did film since. I did this great movie, I thought, a perfect movie with Drew Barrymore called The Stand-In. And it was a satire in Hollywood. And it was about how the media looks to destroy a person without any evidence. It was so funny. And it was Jamie Babbitt, the director of a bunch of Silicon Valley, but also of Girls before that, which you feel how you want to about that. I didn't love it. But then Marvelous Miss Maisel, which is great.
Yeah, that show is winning everything.
So, that movie's great. And I love that. And then I was doing, you know, projects. I was just doing a lot of, like, film and other stuff and series, and I just did something with Adam Carolla. And so I kept working, but I was like, wow, this is so dark that Hollywood will just be like, see ya.
Yeah.
Would not want to be ya. And then, by the way, privately, they're like, hey, man, how you been? God, it sucks about all this. But listen, we must get together.
It's like the world of finance. You can do something super dumb according to the standard, but if it's ballsy, people respect it. You know what I mean? I think it's probably something like that.
It's the inverse of that. But, you know, then the weird thing is, like, Will Smith slaps Chris Rock on international television and then wins an Oscar and, like, nothing will happen.
Well, did you hear the
No
Vanity,
repercussions.
Vanity Fair party? They gave him a standing ovation when he walked in, and they played Getting Jiggy with it. This is a true story. And then him and his family came out to the dance floor, and they all treated him like fucking royalty. But a buddy of mine was there, and they said as soon as he left with his family, everyone was like, can you believe what that motherfucker did tonight? And it's just two different worlds.
That sounds like a
dude.
bunch of fucking cowards to me.
100%. And that's what Jim Carrey released a statement earlier today, and he goes, you're all fucking spineless. The Hollywood shit is done. The cool club is over after last night.
Yeah, there's a lot of cowardice, and you really have to be careful. I mean, in a weird way, that we're already, as comedians, getting some bad sort of censorship vibes. And to have that be condoned, kind of, that Chris Rock can make a joke, pretty harmless, very funny, and get slapped, and then it's okay, is like awful. So what, are we all supposed to be afraid of that, whatever? So the cowardice is what you guys are both saying, is at a level where I don't really want that. You know what I mean? And I would rather, the truth is, I'd rather a real audience member come up, and I've had that in Atlanta, and sort of, challenge me or confront me. But that's because that's a person outside of Hollywood, you know? And so I think it's, bad situation. But the point is that for me, the authenticity of stand-up has always been part of the allure, and the rawness and the complete control. And so it's great because I work where I want, I work when I want. And that was so important to me also because, of course, I think about this. I feel very wronged. Again, I don't hate this woman, but I feel, of course, all the time, it's nightmarish, right? But I do think about it. Yes, I was sort of on track to become a huge movie star. But I think also, and the other thing the reason it's okay is like, when you're a movie star, you're sort of always a movie star. You're not a movie star because I'm friends with a lot of them. But like Kristen Stewart, when she walks into a room, she's a movie star. So the room changes like that. But the thing is that when you do a film, right, when I started an Office Christmas Party, you go there for 3 months, you live in Marietta, Georgia, and you can't leave.
Yeah.
You can't leave on the weekends because you have to go out, you work till 5 in the morning on Friday, got to sleep on Saturday, go out Saturday night, got to take contractually, have to take the first flight out Sunday. So I really wouldn't see Kate. And that would be one thing if, like, I didn't like my wife or, like, I needed time away from her or something. But I do like my wife. And with stand-up, I see her, unfortunately, only 3 days a week, 4 days a week, but I always see her. When you're a movie star, you go and you're away for 3 months, and then what do? You come back and try and relearn the relationship for the month that you have before your next movie. Because Mark Wahlberg told me once, he goes, you need 4 in the can. You always got to have 4 movies that haven't come out. He's, by the way, the fucking deal. Like, he is the real one. 4 movies in the can. I saw him, he came to Michael Bay's housewarming party, and he came kind of halfway through, and Kate and I were like, what's up? His wife is amazing. She's like such a sweetheart, so amazing. But I saw her kind of go, because he said, hey, I can only stop by and say what's up. I just got done filming, and I got to do a night shoot for The Gambler. And Kate was like, you're on your way to shoot? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, you just came from shooting? He's like, yeah. And I was like, dude, how much do you sleep?
Yeah.
How much do you see your family? That was crazy. One of my favorite stories from Hollywood is that, so in Office Christmas Party, Jason Bateman was really, really nice to me. And, he's so fucking funny. And I'd done Extract with him, which is a Mike Judge film that
Great movie.
It's a great movie.
Great movie.
But we didn't really talk. And then in Office Christmas Party, obviously, so we talked. And I was in his trailer, and we were talking. And he, movie stars are always interested in other movie stars because they don't really cross paths because they're all the star of their own movies. And so he said, so what's the deal with Mark? Like, how does he, because I told him we were friends, and I go, well, he always wants 4 in the can, and he doesn't really want to direct. And Jason Bateman likes to direct. He's like, what do you mean? He doesn't. And I'm like, well, I think he thinks of directors as like coworkers or employees sometimes, but really, because they're all younger than him sometimes. And Bateman was like, yeah, that's right. So he would see that as taking up 3/4 of the year. And I was like, yeah, I guess if you put it that way, because he can't do the pre-production and post-production that takes up. And Bateman's like, yeah. And I could see him thinking like, well, I have Ozark because he told me about that. So I have Ozark, but like if you hit it, then you don't really need those 3/4 of the year. First quarter, second quarter, and third quarter can be about that. And maybe the fourth quarter you can take off or whatever. And I said to Bateman, I go, so like, how often do you see like friends and stuff? Because he's just in it, dude. And like Wahlberg has an entourage, Kristen Stewart has an entourage, but those are their friends. But Bateman does not have an entourage at all. It's just him.
He's doing the show with Arnett now.
So
at least once a week.
That's probably his best friend. Yeah.
Probably,
so he said to me, and I think this is part of why they do the podcast, which is hilarious. The podcast, and he said, so Will Arnett's my best friend. And I go, yeah. He goes, like, best friend.
Yep.
He's my sponsor, best friend. And he's like, I see him, if it works out, if everything lines up, schedule and all that, I see him maybe once a year.
Really?
And I was like, really? And he was like, yeah.
Well, I think their podcast is on Zoom, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
And they only do it once a week, and you can tell they're in different places, and I understand.
Are they?
that.
I didn't know that. I
Yeah.
thought they were in L.A.
No. So
they might be in the
makes
same
sense
city,
because
but
he's
different
doing
buildings.
movies and TV. Yeah.
Correct, yeah.
And Arnett has a show, too, I think, right now.
Yeah, he does. And I can tell you this about Bateman, because we had the same agent back in the day. He could not get arrested, pun intended. And so I think,
Pun achieved.
Yeah, you're welcome. But for years, because he was like, dude, I'm fucking awesome and I can do all this shit, it made him want to work more and more and more, because if he gives it up, I think he'll go back to that place that he thinks he won't work again. And it was like that for a very long time. And there was also, back to his directing thing, there was a project that I wanted him for as an actor, and he goes, friend of his manager goes, look, he's only interested in directing, and that was in 2006. And so I was like, oh, great, well, he's fucking hilarious, he wants to do comedy. And he goes, no, he doesn't want to do any comedy, he wants to do drama. And I was like, Jason Bateman wants to direct drama?
Yeah, but here's the crazy thing. Like the last season of Ozark, he's fucking hilarious. Like he's that good. Like Office Christmas Party, he was saying like, why would anyone want to be an actor? It's just sitting around. So even then he was like, I want to be directing. But so Office Christmas Party, this is such a fun story. So those directors are amazing. And so we were doing a scene, I was at the desk and he we finished the scene and then he was like, he only had one line. It was like, you sure about that? And then he said, do you mind if can you roll and I'll do a couple takes? And they were like, yeah. And he just like, the cameras are on him. He just was like, and they were rolling and he's like, you sure about that? You sure about that? Okay. Sure about that. And he did like 10 of those and they were all funny. I can't even do his, but they were all funny. Amazing.
Well, his timing is so good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then he finished and he was like, okay. And you could tell everybody in the room was like, whoa. And then we just moved on. It was like amazing. And so I think he's such a good actor and he's so funny that he's kind of like, all right, I did this.
Yeah.
You know who else is like that is Vincent Cassel from Underwater. He is just like, I said to him, I go, I think what you need is you have 4 projects that are like in the lexicon, like they teach them at film school. Like you need 4 like hardcore. For me, it's like Ready Player One.
That was, by the way,
Deadpool.
So happy that they didn't fucking ruin that book.
No.
Because
Spielberg.
Ender's Game completely, whoever made that movie. Yeah, well,
Tron.
yeah.
Tron,
The second one. But Spielberg, he's not going to fuck something up.
No.
And so I was like, I think it's, because I don't have 4, but I have like 2. Office Christmas Party is like a very good Christmas movie. There's not a lot of those. I said, I think you need 4. And Vincent Cassel was like, oh, then I did it. He's like smoking in the trailer. Well, then I did it. I said, what do you mean? He's like, well, Eastern Promises, Irreversible.
Just starts dropping the greatest movies of all time. And you're like, oh, fuck.
La Hate, which was like his first movie. He just like named 4 things. And I was like, whoa, shit. He did it. And he was like, that's why Underwater, it's kind of Scooby-Doo, And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, he's pretty Scooby-Doo. And I was like, I guess he means really commercial?
Yeah.
I don't know. But, I think Bateman is like done with, so he's a great director. I think he's in Ozark because he's like, no one else could really do this the way I could. But Kate and I was just he does, 2 jokes each episode or something. But it's so funny because everything's so crazy. And, like the teenagers will storm off and his wife will be going crazy. And he's like, okay, you want to do this? Yeah, shall we?
Yeah,
It's just like so funny. But all this is to say that like I do enjoy acting, but I think I enjoy it more because people are so complimentary and so grateful or just very sweet.
Well, somebody that operates
at
the speed that you do, the immediate, like, I guess, response from the audience.
Yeah, totally.
Allows you to like tailor your shit better.
Greets, it's amazing to have somebody be like, love the show.
Yeah.
I also love these things that you've done. But like Underwater didn't come out for 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Well, how do you think Tom Cruise feels right now? Top Gun's been in the shelf for like 3 years now, right?
Jesus Christ. And they just dropped another trailer this morning.
I feel really bad
to refresh people's memory of like, hey, by the way, don't forget Top Gun 2 is coming.
I wake up every morning.
Is that for your arm?
Is
it hurt? Are you hurt?
No, I just like having my arm up here.
Yeah.
What is it for? Is it for typing?
It's a nice armrest.
I have no idea.
Can I see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, God. It's
Somebody,
a nice armrest.
A fan sent it to me.
What is this?
It's a nice little armrest, yeah.
It's so that he can be like this.
Yeah, when you podcast
I feel like
this much,
maybe
dude,
I feel like I'm up on a throne or something.
Is it also supposed to be like?
You could be.
You could put your chin on there.
It's very Warhol
I
what you just did.
Make that joke.
It helps conversation.
I'm way ahead of you.
Yeah, I know you're way ahead of me.
It's the DMT.
Get a fucking leg tattoo.
Do you have any?
It's the DMT.
Yeah, it's the DMT. He's smoking DMT right now.
He's like, I'm on ketamine. It's for depression, so everyone's like, cool choice, bro.
He's got it loaded up right now.
No, this is weed.
Oh, that's weed.
But
today?
I've got plenty of DMT here. Yeah.
Yeah. Because there's other days where the scent is different in here, and I'm like, oh, that's
It
DMC.
smells like burning rubber. It's not
It's
pleasant.
DMC.
I try not to smoke it around other people.
Yeah. TJ, I know you're a busy man.
No, not, but we're
it's
working on this.
fine.
There.
Don't worry about it.
Check the
You got
website.
stocks.
Check the website. I don't care about the stocks. Check the website. I think we're going to do a Thursday show. Everything's sold out at the Creek and the Cave. But if you live in Austin, you like drinking, you need assistance holding your arm like this,
We'll work on it.
please check out the Creek and the Cave on Thursday if we do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. I didn't mean to plug it.
We don't care. We
Were
don't give
you
a
on your way out? Or are we on our way out?
No,
or no?
fuck no. We do this thing called the Drinkin Bro of the Week, which is
Are
someone...
we just getting started?
Either way, look, let's fire it up. If you have the time, we have the time here. We don't give a shit, obviously. And you're looking at
do
your
it.
thing, and you're like, no, I don't have the time.
Nah, I mean, my wife just texted me, who wants to talk to that fucking ball and chain bitch?
She's probably eating fish.
I made a
That's
joke
fine.
recently. Actually, this is the podcast to do this. So I made a joke. It really is, right? 'Cause
Oh, yeah. We don't give a shit. You can talk about 9/11 or
So
the
well, I'm
Holocaust.
not going to do that. Not in front of a veteran.
There's got to be a line somewhere.
So I made a joke about I was in San Francisco and I hosted this like award show for TechCrunch, and I was making fun of some girl.
It did not go well, I heard, right?
Well, I was making fun of some girl, and she was like heckling. It was Travis. What's the Uber guy?
Oh, shit. Super
cares?
Pumped.
Who
Yeah,
cares?
they made a series about him
Who
on
cares?
Showtime, yeah.
So
It was the Asian girl.
exactly.
Yes.
She brought her dog because she was like, I can do whatever I want. And she kept interrupting the show. And I was like, I didn't know she was the girl. I go, what is your problem? And she's like, it's my birthday or some shit like that. And I was like, meanwhile, everybody else in here is like, what is this bitch from Palo Alto? And it got a laugh. And then the next day, all the tech blogs were like, TJ Miller used the B word twice on stage directly to a woman. He used the B word. And they kept saying that. And then, of course, it's the media, so they cut and paste that for their proprietary site to get clickbait. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And also what they do is they make it worse each time because you can get it from the original source, but then they're like, TJ Miller used the B word and beat the shit out of a woman in a stretcher, or whatever it is.
The story kept getting worse and worse.
Yeah,
as it went along.
It's like a game of telephone, but everybody's cunts.
Yes.
Well, that's what I said. I was like, okay, first of all, the B word, like, don't take that away from us.
Yeah.
Everyone's worried about the C word. I don't say the C word, but you should not be concerned with that. I would be worried about the word slit. You call a girl a slit? That is, wow, that's bad. Look
You
at this
think?
fucking slit over here.
You think it's better than cunts?
Listen to what I'm saying.
Cunt is
It's
like,
you know what? It's a bunch of fucking slits. Gross.
It has the-
that is fucking evil, dude.
Slit has the added benefit of reducing the woman's agency down to just being a hole.
It
to put
is
things in.
gross. So I was
Yeah.
like, you better worry about the S word instead of the C word. But I don't say that. But the B word, like, don't take that away from everyone because the funniest thing a woman can say, wife, girlfriend, whatever, is like, so you guys didn't go out last night? And the girl's like, well, I would have, but he was being a little bitch. Like, I love that. That is so funny. So anyway, they like came at me with that. And it's interesting because that happened early on. I remember thinking like, damn, the media fucked up, dude. What's the problem? Little did I know. So, I think like, it's weird. It's like now that's the thing about stand-up is now it's, what is it? Judge, jury, and executioner is the audience.
Yeah.
And I came to Austin last night. I'm preparing for this special in Nashville. And I came to Austin and I remember being like, what are we going to do? I can't just like run the special here. This is the Creek and the Cave is like more of a small theater than it is a comedy club. I just come from Dallas, Fort Worth, where it was a comedy club, both of them. And I was like, all right, we got to take a different route here because I can't come down here and like bomb and have people be like, okay, club comedian TJ Miller.
Yeah.
So I just did it a lot more freeform because I'm an improviser. So a lot of times if you see my show, it'll be just that show. It'll be completely, and every show is different for sure.
And I will say this about the Creek and the Cave. A lot of huge people come through there. So I saw Christina P., Dan and I, rehearsing her Netflix 1 hour special.
Oh,
there.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so she ran it, and goddamn, dude, she crushed that night.
She's a real pro, yeah.
Yeah.
She's very good.
Very, very good. So the Creek in the Cave is legit. It's one of those spots in Austin where if you know, you know. And people who go there expect to see the best of the best. And I know it sounds weird if you're not from here, where you're just like, oh, fuck.
But it's not that 2-story with the mezzanine comedy club where you can get those good camera shots and shit.
It's about, 150,
Oh, I see what you're
200
saying. Yeah,
seats?
which
It's just
is
the
the same
visuals
as
are
in
so much
Nashville.
better.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yeah.
But Shane did a special there.
Gillis
That was
did?
great.
He
Yeah.
did one at Creek in the Cave?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
No
It's like
shit.
called Live from Austin. It's great. You can see it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Of course.
All of his shit's on YouTube.
Of course.
So that was great, but he only released it there. And yeah, I mean, I'm really good friends with the owner, and I just absolutely love her and love what she does for comedy and love how much she cares about comedy and comedians. And the other thing that she does, which is so cool, is she like really supports and cultivates and engenders the talent of the women in the scene, but she doesn't like give anybody a spot unless they're funny.
Yeah.
Right.
So she's not putting up somebody because she's like, well, I gotta diversify that.
Yeah.
But she's got all the best women, all the best everything.
Yep.
And the shows are all interesting. They're all like different and themed, but then they have just a showcase of the best. So I think that's the spot here. And I know Joe Rogan is doing stuff at Vulcan.
Vulcan, yeah.
Vulcan. He does,
he's got
he
a
does
new-
pop-up shows at Creek in the Cave all the time.
Yeah,
That's
he
it.
does. And
And Mike Eaton from Giggle Boys is here. He's always at Creek in the Cave.
Mike!
Yeah. We're huge fans of Mike. He's always there.
Giggle Boys!
He's always killing it, dude.
Yeah.
He's wearing
Giggle Boys
flip-flops,
podcast.
open toe. He doesn't give a fuck!
No fucks given out of Mike today. Yeah. Proud of you,
Really?
Mike.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, don't you love Rebecca? She's the best. And so
I've never heard any of
that's
the
what I'm
comics say anything bad about her. which
Never.
is-
No.
Usually
And so that's my
comics
thing
are a
is, like,
bitchy
definitely
group of people.
go and support the Kill Tonys, the
Yeah.
Joe Rogan, all that stuff. Like, Tony is so funny.
Yeah.
But the Creek in the Cave is kind of, they have the next shit and they also have the best shit now. And so I just think you can't go wrong there, you know? So I'm a huge fan of that space. And I got to tell you, I haven't performed in Austin in like 5 years because I had beef with San Francisco and I kind of thought Austin was sort of like that. And I don't need this market really. But I came here because she came here. That's how much I love that woman. And it's great. And the audience last night was great. And my big thing is Austin going to have a sense of humor about themselves? Because I need that everywhere I go. And if people don't, San Francisco, then I don't play there.
Right.
But I recently went back. I'm not talking shit on San Francisco because I recently went back and I didn't play Portland for a little while, but then they got a sense they were funny. And so far from last night, I'm like, Austin is awesome.
There it is.
I got to get out of here.
Yeah, you
I
gotta
saw
get
I saw
out
Nor-
of here.
Don't you fucking nod your head, you emo piece of shit from
Giorgio.
1998.
Giorgio.
I saw Norm
Got
at
a fucking hoodie on. It's 90 degrees.
I saw Norm at Cobb's Comedy Club.
Did
and,
you?
And he came out and did the first 20 minutes of his set was all like trans jokes. And this was
Really?
like 2016, I think. He didn't give a fuck.
Doesn't give a fuck.
Like I feel like he's the kind of guy.
Because no one hates trans people.
No.
one. Chappelle is not. He's just talking.
Yeah.
If we're all just talking about this stuff, and it's okay. No one is like, I'll kill them. It's like not Nazi level shit. It's just like
No, it's like it's kind of
isn't
funny
this
that
funny?
a dude
It is, and
that
it's
won
new.
a fucking gold medal in the Olympics is now
It's
running
new.
around with
It's
fake
like
titties.
it's
Yeah.
new, so let's
funny.
talk about it.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
But Norm, that was the one thing I was friends with him over Twitter, and we crossed paths a bunch. But I was always gonna cancel a weekend and then go and see him and have dinner with him and specifically do that, and then
With Mark Norman?
no, with
Norm
Norm
Macdonald. Yeah, okay, gotcha.
And then then the pandemic happened and we lost our life savings and I could not work and then he died. So that's on him.
That is on him.
Yeah.
And he would love that joke if he was alive today.
Yeah, he would.
By the way, this is the point in the show we give to the Drinkin' Bro of the Week, who's someone who's inspired you, helps you become the person you are
Norm
today.
Macdonald.
There
And
it
because he was the real deal nihilist. Like he was an actual nihilist and was great at it. So that's why I think he's the best, because that's where all this is headed. We've left religion. We understand that political satire really doesn't do much in the United States. Mark Maron, why are you still here? And then social criticism is really important right now. Autobiographical comedy is always going to be an allure or a necessity because that speaks to the human condition. But the next step is to sort of talk about and joke about how it's all meaningless and that doesn't have to be a bad thing. But that's really hard. Like I tried with my HBO special, which I recently watched that. That was a long time ago.
What'd you think?
I watched it. I was like, this is a guy who's trying to do more philosophy than comedy. And I have always espoused that it needs to be funny first. And so that didn't happen, but I was younger. So that's with these 3 specials, I'm going to try and do a little more of that. But you know, this is the time usually when we go into the Drinking Bros week.
You were close.
So-
You were close, yeah.
I
You were
know.
close.
What was it?
Drinking Bro of the Week. You said Norm Macdonald, so you got that. Look,
Yeah.
the 8% seltzers sneak up on you, 1. 2, you've got a show here in a couple
Snuck
hours.
up on me.
TJ.
Buddy, I snuck up on you guys.
Tej. Come on, Tej. But in all sincerity, I'd like to end the show if you don't mind.
Wait, that's the question?
Yeah, that's the question.
That's the only question?
That's fucking it, dude. That's it. This is fucking end of the show.
I love this show.
What kind of questions did you expect?
Yeah,
What's
what were you
weird though
hoping
is
for?
like it's Drinking Bros,
Yeah.
which I would have chosen Brothers.
Sure.
I wear a monocle and
Because
a
then it
top
wouldn't be
hat.
as bro-y, you know? But now it can't not be. But it was weird that it's Drinking Bros and like you're drinking an energy drink and smoking weed, right? And you like started drinking at the end to kind of be
No,
like,
I'm
hey,
3 deep.
I'm broing
I'm 3
out.
deep right here.
Says him.
Oh,
Jesus
come
Christ.
on, dude. This is live. You can't fake
Those
this.
were fucking water. Energy drink.
I've got a plan today.
It's hard to be a drinking bro when you get to your age, you know?
Sure.
Yeah, he's sure.
You're more of a arnica on the knee bro.
You think so?
Yeah.
Well, TJ, he's 32.
And then a
I'm
joke
32.
about
I'm 32 years
What?
old.
He's
No.
32.
32
God
years
damn,
old.
you
TJ.
look horrible. Yeah!
It's been the ongoing joke on the show.
What kind of whiskey you got?
Help yourself to whiskey. What do we got to
That's
make?
not real alcohol.
Is it not? We got some real shit in
No,
here.
we drank all that booze and filled
some
it
real
back
shit in
up
here.
with other shit.
The real stuff's on the bottom.
Don't? Grab something, Nick. Grab
There's a bunch
something
of
out of the kitchen.
There's
Who
a bunch of
cares?
9/11 whiskey down there.
Oh, the 9/11 whiskey. Have you seen the 9/11
That's
whiskey?
real drinking, bro. You got no Japanese whiskey, but a fucking rum chata. That's the Tex-Mex of fucking liqueurs.
There really is 9/11 whiskey back
Ladies,
there, by the way.
you keep bringing that up. You want to talk about it?
Let's do it. Where were you?
Where was I?
Yeah, 9/11.
I was in one of the planes. But I took a wrong turn. I landed in St. Louis.
Yeah, well,
So you made it. You made
What?
it and you were fine.
No, I did not. They were pissed at the Taliban.
you know, that's funny. We got, whoa.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, no.
That's one. Or Kahlua? Come
It's
on.
a fucking
Mike.
hard pass. Wait, come here.
There's a,
We've got.
Will you,
We got whiskey here. Here we
call
go.
the Giggle Boys. Tell me what it is.
It's
Giggle
me
Boys
and
podcast.
my buddy Eli's podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And we're here on the network recording that little
Are
room
you
right up
doing? Are you opening up for him tonight?
there. No, Adam Lucky's hosting for him, who was just
No
on the
shit.
last live one. He rules.
Do you?
you guys were on.
He's fucking hilarious, by the way. Have him open. Oh, dude, he's great. Have him open up for. He's on the network. He's got a podcast called Giggle Boys. He's great.
open up your set and also open up personally to you.
Yeah.
Yes, up there. We already-
No, you're good, man.
It's nice to meet you.
Fuck yeah, it's great to meet you too. Hell yeah, I'll see you at the
Yeah,
creek
listen to
tonight.
the podcast.
No matter what. Yeah, I'm coming to watch.
Here, Mike, hand this to him. Hand this
Buy
to
a
him. Here we
drink
go.
afterwards. Hell yeah.
Here we go.
Oh man, this is really shit. Next time I come on, you get some hibiki.
I do like a Bicky. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, Japanese harmony.
I don't know what that is, dude.
Well, you don't know what Japanese harmony is? It's when Japanese people get along
Okay.
well.
Does that happen a lot?
Now, this is your moment to get into Pearl Harbor being a conspiracy.
I thought
it
it
is.
was actually.
It
We
is,
knew ahead
yeah.
of time that it was going to happen. We're
We
not gonna do
did.
that.
We didn't do anything.
I thought
to stop
Japanese
it.
Harmony was a boy band.
Really? Where were you? That was a sleeper hit. I love that. Where were you during 9/11?
I was in LA actually, and it
Really?
started super fucking early, which pissed me off because I was like,
West Coast time.
yeah, they woke me up, and I'm like, why the fuck are you waking me up? And they're like, terrorist attack on the buildings, and I was like, awesome, man, let's kick this back to nooner. and then maybe I can get back into it. But right now, it is fucking early.
There'll
dude.
be a highlight reel.
Exactly. I was like, I'll catch it.
That's how I felt about the Oscars.
Yeah,
I was
right.
Center.
I saw it all on fucking Twitter.
Yeah, so did I.
Yeah.
I was in D.C., which went crazy because the Pentagon, and Kate and I hadn't met, so she was like whisked away by D.C. police because her friend and we were like in my my ironic fraternity and watching it all happen. It was crazy, and then that night, this is so interesting and indicative of my future. That night, my comedy group still rehearsed. We all showed up to do what we always did, which was 10 to midnight, work.
Yeah.
And it was just it was such a bizarre situation. One of us, it was so weird, came in blackface. And I was like, what?
Dress for the job you want.
No, and
right?
they were like, this is the only time I can do this and not have anybody look twice because things are bad.
Yeah.
But, that was, I don't know, that was kind of, in a weird way, it was like push through, do the jokes. You gotta do it, no matter what.
LA was somber because at the time they thought one of the flights was heading to LA because it was supposed to. And so they were like, oh, it's coming, it's gonna bomb
I don't
LA,
wanna be
everything
weird,
else.
but that was my plane.
Well, was it your plane? Good.
And I thought, I didn't look at the map, right? So I thought St. Louis was Los Angeles. And then I landed and I saw that Lion's Choice roast beef place. And I was like, this is not a West Coast establishment.
That is a deep cut.
Very
cut.
deep.
That is a deep
Appreciate
ass
that.
St.
All the
Louis
producers are
Are
from
you a
St.
St.
Louis.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Deep cut. Yeah. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Sell it all!
I'll go a deeper cut for you if you want. First time I met you was for a screen test for carpoolers, and you absolutely fucking destroyed it.
And were you?
I was outside the room, and you can hear people through the room, and I was like, Jesus Christ, this guy's gonna get it, and you fucking got it, and you were fucking hilarious, dude.
Why does he call it the Drinking Bros Podcast when it should be called Vague References to My Past Career Bros
I know your shit, bro.
Podcast?
I know your shit.
Why do you
We
think he
actually
does
we
it?
would be doing the same show even if you weren't here.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
We just talk about your career.
We talk
That's
about
why
your
you get
career
high
every
all
day.
the time.
Yes.
I can't take it.
You're
anymore.
like, I can't fucking deal with this. I need to be high, and I'm about to fall asleep at his stories. So let me grab a Ghost energy drink.
Perfect. We're trying to get them as a sponsor, but no. But carpoolers, dude, was look at that.
Drinking Bros.
Are you going to Cave and Creek tonight? If not,
Creek
you
and
should
Cave.
now.
It's called the Creek and Cave.
Whatever, dude. Creek and Cave.
Lunatic.
We've had enough fucking booze tonight. We've had enough fucking booze
I
tonight.
love you, such a sweet baby.
Yeah,
Thank
there
you.
it is. Give him a little pat. there it
he
is.
actually
All right, let's go.
right in the
Lay
bed.
tattoos on me.
Tonight, TJ Miller is at Creek and Cave. Or did I get that right, Mike?
Creek and the Cave.
Creek and the Cave. Go to the fucking Creek or the Cave. I don't care where you go. Just go to one of them in Austin, Texas, and see TJ Miller tonight. Fun show. There he is back there. Look at that. Look at that. Did he shower, TJ? Did Giorgio shower today? Yes or no?
You know what he smells like?
What's that? UFC?
Melody. Ever heard of it? Thanks, guys.
Oh, this show will not be on very much longer, and we love you. For D'Anthony Holloway, I'm Ross Patterson. That was TJ Miller.